Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by Stoney Creek Sabres player and Colgate commit, Tessa Holk. Tessa, how is everything going? And thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me. It's going pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing well, just in the thick of things with school right now. But other than that, not much else going on for myself.
Mm,
How was your off season so far? How's it going so far? I know you've played a few preseason games, but I still consider it the off season just because the games don't count. How's that been for yourself? Have you done anything interesting, whether it's hockey related or non-hockey related?
we've been doing practices a lot of tactics we've been working on, D zone and offensive zone. A lot of working out too. I think we've just been going on the grind. This summer I went to Calgary for the U18 camp, so that was pretty awesome. Awesome experience. Met so many girls there, so that was pretty fun. But nothing too much too serious for off season.
Well, that's good to hear. And obviously, how was that experience at the U18 camp? I know there was a few other players from your team that got to go to that. What was that experience like for you?
Honestly, the hockey was unreal. I haven't played a game maybe in 2 years before that, so it was awesome to get back into the roll of things and meeting so many new players from Quebec and New Brunswick. And my roommate was from PEI, so it was awesome to just get to know people and play the game.
What did you learn during your time in that camp?
Honestly, a lot about the family unity they have there. Like Hockey Canada is all about being a family and having that bond with your teammates, as well as being aggressive and having a fast-paced game is going to help you so much in the long run.
Now, did you get the chance to meet any veteran players from Team Canada? Because I know some of them were preparing in Calgary for the World Championships that happened a few months ago.
We couldn't see any of them, but I know Sarah Nurse because she was on our bench last year, so I know her pretty well, texting her and just asking her questions whenever I need. But that was pretty cool having her as a mentor throughout the season last year, and even still now, we still talk.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Last year, like many other hockey players, you probably faced many challenges preparing for the season with gyms and rinks being closed. With some things opening back up, has that changed your approach at all during this off season?
Well, I actually had I had an awesome what's the name? My uncle had this home gym, and I used that pretty much all through quarantine and all through COVID, pretty much. So that was pretty awesome. And obviously, having the availability to have new trainers and being able to go to Good Life and stuff. But right now, I've just been training at his place. It's like a nice gym, so I'll take advantage of it. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and obviously, having a gym, unlike some players who don't have that luxury, how have you tried to use that to your advantage?
Obviously, doing the little things that matter. I mean, working out something like a lot of girls do. So doing things behind the scenes that no one else is going to do. Obviously, having that is a privilege. But yeah, it was awesome going there.
Now, overall, how's training going for yourself, and what are you working on regarding your game for next season?
Upper body strength for sure. You got to be strong in this game. Like I feel like girls are getting bigger and stronger, so got to increase your upper body strength and even legs. Got to increase your speed as well. So I think that'd be something I want to improve on.
And is that one area you're hoping to improve on the most heading in to next season, or is there other areas you're trying to improve on? Because obviously, you haven't played in quite some time with the season being canceled last year. So, what are some other areas of your game you're trying to improve on?
Probably my shot. I mean, when you're in this league now, you get to get a better shot, quicker, faster. So that's something you got to improve on for sure. And having that strength is going to help you that much better to get a better shot. Probably puck control as well. If you don't have puck control, you're not going to have the puck that much. So those are two things I think I want to improve on.
Now, let's start off and transition and talk about the beginning of your hockey career. So, you're from Ancaster, Ontario. Talk about growing up there, what it's like, and how did you start playing hockey?
I mean, it's a pretty small town, so you know everyone there pretty much. It's adorable, so it's really cute living here. But I was maybe 4 years old, and I was watching my brother play some hockey, and I was like, to my mom, I'm like, oh my god, I want to play hockey. And then I did with my best friend. We went on a free skate. I fell right off the ice, it was right off the bat. I didn't know how to skate, and then pretty much ran on the ice till I knew how to stride. But that was pretty much the beginning of it. My dad coached me since forever, but obviously not anymore. But when I was a little kid, he coached me, and I've loved the game ever since.
Who was your favorite player growing up? Was it someone in the NHL or was it a female player on the national team?
I got to say Sidney Crosby. Always look up to him. I mean, he was such an ideal player. He was he was the captain of the team. He just pretty much was compared to Wayne Gretzky, so it's like who doesn't want to be in, you know?
Hmm. And do
Yeah.
you remember when he scored that golden goal in the Olympics, which
Yeah.
has been like 11 years now, which makes me feel old,
Yeah.
but
No, like clear as day, I remember where I was exactly at that point. Like I know exactly where I was, and it was insane. It was crazy.
yeah, as an American, I don't remember it the same way as you do. A little more sad, but it's still cool that NHL players are going to be back in the Olympics next year. So hopefully, Team
Yeah.
USA can get some revenge because I assume Crosby's going to be on that team, which is crazy to think
Um.
about 12 years later.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Now, you before you played. So how did you get the opportunity to play in the PWHL with Stoney Creek?
So I've been with the organization for pretty much since Adam, and then I got coached with Adam, and then I went back to boys in Pee Wee, and then played boys for my 2 years in Pee Wee, and then I went back to Stoney and Bantam. So being in the organization, you get to play with players and the coaches and one on one with them. So that's what I kind of got brought up from there.
And in the 2019-20 season, you only played 2 games according to Elite Prospects in the PWHL. From those 2 games, what was the biggest thing you learned about playing in this league, and how are you going to use it for this year when you start playing more games with
Uh,
League?
yeah, got to be physical for sure. The PW is super physical and super fast. So also being fast, you're not going to have a lot of time that you usually do when you're in midget or bantam. So just got to use that. And yeah, I think to be fast and physical is the big two things.
Now, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to the PWHL when you played in those 2 games?
Probably calming the nerves down. I mean, I think it's a big jump from midget to the PW. So I feel like just relaxing on the ice and just kind of trusting your skills are the biggest thing.
Now, last season, your team didn't play any games. What was your mindset like last year when there was so much uncertainty regarding your season?
I mean, it was pretty hard to like kind of cope with everything because you never really knew. It was always on the fence if we were gonna have a season or not. So it was kind of hard to say like if we were gonna be doing things. But honestly, staying as a team and being a team unity was huge. I mean, still working hard in practice and on off the ice as well because you never know when you're gonna back into games. So it's like everything's gonna be game speed and just gotta work hard.
And how did your team stay connected during that time when you guys really couldn't be together that much?
Every week we had a Zoom call just to catch up. Like it was a lot of fun. We did a lot of workouts together and like yoga and just talked about life. It was hard, obviously, like not being in the rink and dressing room together, but we made it. We made it work.
Now, what did you do personally last year when, in that time of what would have normally been your PWHL season?
Focusing on school a lot. I feel I was focusing a lot of school, working out off season, getting them reps in. It was kind of harder not to go and play hockey because it's such like a norm for all of us. But got to cope with it. You know, everyone's in the same boat, so this is how it was.
How was school for yourself that year, and is it still online, or are you guys finally getting back to in-person classes?
It was online most of last year. We did maybe one class, I think, in school, so it was pretty tough, but cope with it as well. Like you gotta do what you gotta do if it changes. But yeah, a lot of Zooms we had to do. So yeah.
Hmm. Do you like online school more than in-person classes now that you've had the two to compare to?
I mean, I like social interaction, so like I love going to school and I love like teaching in person. It's easier for me. I feel like being a visual learner was harder to be a visual learner on the Zoom call. So I think yeah, for sure in person.
The only thing I liked about online classes more than in-person classes was it was way more convenient for my schedule. So that's the only thing that I do miss about online classes from last year.
No, yeah, I agree. Wake up in bed and just turn your Zoom on and you can just listen while you're sleeping.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But it's
Yeah.
good that things are getting back to normal. So, but now, with the PWHL not having a season last year, how do you plan to get rid of the rust when you finally start playing real games again? I know you had some sort of exhibition games this weekend, but once the real games start setting in October, how do you plan to get rid of that rust, quote unquote?
Honestly, just getting your practice reps in, just going 110% all the time. I feel like if you do that in practice, you get all your bad reps out and you get the good reps in the game. Yeah, pretty much.
Now, what type of leadership do you want to bring to the team this year? You're obviously one of the older players on the team, and you're going to be heading to college in the next year. So, what type of leadership do you want to bring? Are you more of a vocal leader or lead by example type of player?
Like I'm a bit of both. I obviously got to be a leader. You got to be vocal as well. Um, got to hype the girls up before the game. I love doing that. That's probably my favorite part of game day. As well as being like, you got to show them that got to work hard to be able to make your run and want to get. You show the rookies that the way to go. I mean, being a rookie last year, like you had role models like Lauren Messier and Vanessa Upson, like kind of bring me in under their wing. So I got to do it for rookies this year. Just got to work hard and show them that you have to, go 110% to make it in this league.
Yeah, what do you do to hype up the team in the locker room? Just play loud music, or do you do anything else?
Usually do some dances a little bit, just get some hype. I did a cheer a couple years ago, and that was really fun for the girls. So I love doing that before games.
Are you a good dancer, or do you not want to admit that on the podcast?
I mean, I'm not too bad. I mean, I could say I'm like pretty good, but I'm all right.
I'm a terrible dancer, so I could never do that. In the locker room, I would just get absolutely destroyed. So I'm glad you have the confidence to do that because I definitely couldn't.
Yeah.
Now, what's been the biggest improvement you've made to your game since last year when the season got canceled?
I think calming my nerves. Like I think COVID really like kind of helped me taught like a lot of mental things. I used to be really like antsy player and I get worked up, but I feel like now kind of learning that this game's full of mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes in the game, just not to get worked up over it. Because once you get worked up, you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna get more frustrated. So I feel like staying calm during the game. I think I improved on a lot this year.
Now, what are your goals and expectations for yourself and for your team for this upcoming season?
Obviously, being one of the top scorers in the PW, top assists. Obviously, I want my team to be number one this year. That's something you always want to strive for your team. Obviously got a lot of work to do, but just got to keep going. But yeah, those are the things I think that we can make those things happen and work.
Now, tell me about those exhibition games you played this past week, and how did you think you did? And just talk about the team's performance in those games.
Obviously, first two games, so got a lot of rust we got to get off. I think it's good. I'm glad we did these games, but I think we got a lot of work to do. A lot of things we need to work on. Focusing on little things, I feel, are the biggest things. Making the bump, I think. Just relaxing. I feel like we have like 17 rookies on our team. We haven't really played a lot, so I feel like we just gotta kind of come together, trust each other, and I think it'll all work out in the end.
Yeah, how do you go about those exhibition games? Because for myself, I feel like it'll be hard to kind of motivate yourself for them because they don't count. So you don't want to go full, give it 100% per se, just because you don't want to get injured in a game that doesn't matter. So how do you go about the games like that?
I mean, obviously, we're like I said to play as a team for once. It was awesome to get back into it. I haven't played with Stoney like an actual game since midget, so I mean, it was awesome, and I played with all the girls again. But I think we're all motivated to keep going and playing. I know it's an exhibition game. I know it doesn't matter, but I think we wanted it to matter in a way. It kind of sets the tone for the season. So hopefully these couple games coming up are going to set the tone as well.
Yeah, and kind of build that momentum heading into the
Yeah.
regular season. That's obviously important. So I totally agree with you on that. Now, you recently committed to Colgate. I just want to ask you, what was your recruitment process like for that, and what made you want to commit there versus other schools that you might have looked at? And also, congratulations on
Thank
committing.
you. Thank you. Um, Honestly, I got recruited by them. I think in my grade 9 year, so my Bantam year. Loved them ever since. I think the atmosphere there is insane. I think it's kind of close to home. I mean, it's 4 hours away, and it's a cute little town. So maybe the student body is maybe like around 3,000 people. So I love that small like hometown feeling. The coaching staff there is insane. I think I love them there. As well as the environment they create is awesome. I'm just super excited to get started there.
Have you gotten the chance to meet any of the players that are currently on the team now, or is that going to happen next year once you start getting settled into college life?
Yeah, I've reached out to some. I've met some as well, so they're all awesome. Like I've met my seniors that are gonna be my seniors next year, so that'll be awesome to experience with them. But yeah, I know most of the girls that are on my year that are committed, so I'm so excited to like play with them and start this.
Now, for college hockey fans that have never seen you play before, just talk about your game and what do you hope to bring to Colgate once you get there next year?
I would say I'm a pretty speedy player. I like using my speed. I like to say that I'm kind of like a McDavid. I feel like I kind of represent him in a good way. Um, have good vision on the ice. I feel too. I hit my team up as well. It's a positive attitude all the time. So I'm excited to just be positive there and bring what I got.
Now, have you been watching any college hockey recently since some schools did have a season last year?
Yeah, I did watch Colgate a couple times against Clarkson because they played them a lot. So I
Mhm.
watched a couple games. So that was pretty awesome just watching them play. Pretty good, two good teams actually. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and what was your thoughts on just the whole season in general? Wisconsin winning the national championship. It was a good season, even though it was kind of uncertain at times, and with so many stoppages happening because of positive tests and stuff like that.
I mean, Wisconsin's such a like amazing program, has a really good reputation. So I feel like obviously they deserved it because they do work hard and they're a good program. So yeah, I mean it was awesome seeing them win, but obviously got a wish for Colgate. But
Mhm.
hopefully in the next couple of years we can bring back some national championships.
Was it cool to see Colgate win the ECAC championship and then obviously play in the national tournament, even though that was a very tough game for them since they lost it in overtime? But what was your thoughts on the team's performance last year?
I mean, they're a very young team, so considering that, I think it was awesome to just see them make it that far. Like being such a young team like that, I feel like the potential is there, and it's gonna happen. And the next couple of years are gonna be coming.
Yeah, no, one player that really stood out to me was the goalie, Kaylee Osborne. She really stood in your head for some of those games in the ECAC. Have you had the chance to meet her before, and what's your thoughts on how good of a goalie she's going to be when you get there?
I mean, I remember shooting on her, and it's literally impossible to score on her. So yeah, I think she's awesome. I think she's such a like a brick wall literally in the net. So super nice person as well, super outgoing and very approachable.
Now, I want to ask you about some of the teammates you got to play with at Stoney Creek. One of them was Lauren Messier. Just talk about what she was like as a teammate, both on and off the ice, because every player that has played with her that I've talked to says she's one of the best leaders they've ever played with.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I've pretty much looked up to her since I was in Adam. I played with her and Adam too, so it was awesome playing with her in the P Dub. But yeah, literally one of the best players I've ever experienced. Like super approachable. Hardworking. Probably one of the hardest working person I've ever met in my entire life. But yeah, she's awesome. I think she's probably one of the best people ever.
And you obviously get coached by Sarah Nurse, and you were talking a little bit about this in the beginning of the podcast. But what is she like as a coach? And just talk about her as a player as well, since she did win the gold medal in the World Championships not too long ago.
I mean, you kind of forget like these Olympians are human. So when you do talk to her, she's completely normal and she's so funny and she just talks to us like we're like normal people. She doesn't act like she's big shot or anything. So no, she's awesome on the bench, super positive, makes cracks a couple jokes all the time. Obviously she's an unreal player. I think she works so hard and I'm really proud of her and Team Canada for bringing back that gold.
hmm Yeah, Marie-Phil Poulon's shot in that for that overtime was insane.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that?
Um, I was in my living room and like we were watching it and it goes in, right? And we all get up and we're like freaking out and then the game's still playing. We're like, what the heck's happening? Like, oh, and then the buzzer goes off and we just went crazy. Like it was awesome to see that. She was working hard all like tournament and she's been such a big part of the Canadian success. So it was awesome to see that she can do that.
In your opinion, do you think she's the greatest female hockey player of all time, Poulin?
I mean, I personally I think so, 100%.
Yeah, no, she's definitely making the Hall of Fame for sure.
Yeah.
But just to see the impact that she's had on women's hockey from when she started playing until now is pretty awesome to see. I'm assuming being a women's hockey player in Canada, it's great to see her just help grow the game even more.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions. My first question to you is, what music do you like to listen to?
Honestly, everything, but like probably for game day, like hip hop and upbeat stuff. But pretty much everything. I like everything.
Any go-to artist?
I would say Drake right now. I'm
Mhm.
really digging his music.
What's your thoughts on Certified Lover Boy? Do you like that more than Donda? Because that's kind of a debate that's going on now.
See, I like that. I like Drake's one a lot better, but a lot of people have different opinions. But I like Drake's album.
I think the production in Donda is better than CLB, but I think the lyrics in CLB are better than Donda. That's my personal opinion. But I'm a big Kanye fan, so I
Okay.
have to probably choose Donda over CLB. But they're both good albums.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Now, what is the most interesting thing you've seen or read this week?
Hmm, that's a good question. I don't even know.
hmm
Um, I saw this weird thing on TikTok, and it said it's like it's kind of deep. I don't know, but it's like we aren't made to fit clothes. Clothes are made to fit us, and I thought that was so weird because I never really thought about it that way. But
hmm
that was just something I kind of read, and I was like, my mind was just kind of out of sorts a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I guess
Yeah.
for myself, I saw a 15-minute documentary on YouTube. I don't know if you're into sports psychology at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can listen to it.
Well, I thought this one was really interesting because it was about some soccer player named Mario Götze, and he was the one that scored the game-winning goal in the World Cup in 2014. And it talked about how that great moment kind of ruined his career because he was never able to live up to that one moment, and how it kind of like changed him psychologically, sports-wise, just because he was never able to do it. I just thought it was super interesting because normally you think about like a bad play affecting someone's psychology, but it could also happen to a really good play too. But I liked his mindset on it, where he said, "I won the World Cup, and I've done what I've done the best I could do." So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about it that way. You would think like one good play would make them kind of the
Hmm.
king of the world.
Oh yeah, he definitely was the king of the world for some time. Like
Yeah.
it said in the documentary, because they were playing Argentina and Lionel Messi is considered one of the best soccer players in the world. That his coach, when he told him to get on the game, he's like, "Show the world you're better than Messi." And for that moment, he was better than Messi, but obviously, he just was never able to live up to that one moment. But I just thought it was super interesting, and I'm very interested in the sports psychology of things, just because it's such a huge aspect of the game that people don't consider that much.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Now, next on hockey question is, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself and why?
Gotta say Jennifer Lopez. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. She's just like super strong actress, woman, like just all around person.
Hmm. I don't know who I would want to play for myself. Probably like Leonardo DiCaprio, just so I can say that he
Yeah,
played me in a movie. I think that'd be pretty cool. Not many people
it
get
was.
to say that, even though we look
That's
nothing alike.
very, very true. Very true.
Now, let's talk a little bit about some of your teammates. Who's the funniest on the team?
Um, Rachel McIntyre is pretty funny. Um, what was pretty funny? I mean, my last year's team, Ella Crush was pretty funny too. So I would say those two are my top.
Now, you obviously have the best style on the team. That's like an undeniable fact. But besides yourself, who else has the best style on Stony Creek, both on and off the ice?
Um, Jenna Dora is some nice guy too. And I gotta give it to Lauren Messier. Like honestly, I've never seen someone else who has like a best eye. Like she looks so good when she's on the ice. Like I try to look like that when I play.
That's awesome. I gotta tell her that after this
Yeah.
interview is over. So now, last teammate question is: who is the cleanest teammate on the team? Who keeps their locker the tidiest?
Mm. Oh my God. I mean, we're all pretty tidy though. I
Hmm.
don't really know exactly who, but I haven't really looked at that to be honest. I mean, we have a billet coming in. Her name's Cam, and hers is pretty clean because she hasn't really used it yet. So I would say Cam.
Awesome. I guess one more teammate question then: who is the best trash talker on the team?
Mm, Brody Levitt or Janetta Work's pretty good with that stuff too. I would say.
Any good chirps that you can mention on the pod, or not really? Not any you can't think of right now, I guess.
I can't think of anything right now. If I do, I'll let you know though.
Awesome, awesome. Well, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Probably people who are like obviously cocky. It just kind of bothers me when people are just in your face about themselves.
Hmm. I guess
Yeah.
for myself, it used to be bad drivers, but now since I've been commuting a lot more, it's just the traffic here has been horrible, and it just makes it. It's making me go crazy. I don't know where these people are going at like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, so that's probably my biggest pet peeve at the moment.
No, yeah, me too. I hate people who can't drive. It makes me like so mad.
Hmm. Yeah, no, especially when you need to go somewhere and they're just going like 30 miles per hour on the right hand lane. It just bothers me, but I'm not gonna get too much into it. I don't want to lose my mind on the podcast right now.
Okay.
Favorite outdoor activity?
I'm into golf lately. I'm not too good at it, but I enjoy it sometimes.
I have not played golf in a long time, but my short game is terrible and my
Yeah.
long game is pretty decent. So that's kind of my only thing. I can't give you any advice, to be honest with you, but maybe you can
No,
give
yeah.
me some advice. I kind of need it.
I'm not too good, so I couldn't give you too much to get you a little better.
It is a fun sport to play though when you're just having fun. So I will give you that, but it's also a very frustrating sport. More frustrating
Oh
than
yeah.
hockey, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, 100%. If you're being serious about it and you're not having a good game, it's just not gonna go well.
Oh yeah. Now, last non-hockey question is: if there's any meal you could have for the rest of your life, what would that meal be and why?
Probably steak and mashed potatoes with some vegetables. I mean, can't really go wrong with that. It's just perfect meal.
Chicken parm for me. That's I
Mhm.
don't think I need to explain too much about that. That's just the
No,
best.
you're right. It's good.
Back to some hockey questions now. What do you think should be done to help grow women's hockey, in your opinion, especially since you've been involved with it for most of your life and you're obviously playing in the junior level right now?
Um, Obviously, just bringing light to the talent that's within the game. I feel like people forget that the women's game has evolved like insanely throughout the last couple of years. So I feel like just bringing light to the talent that's been brought in is something that's huge. Even just broadcasting games to PWHPA, I think would be a big step in the right direction.
Now, what advice would you give younger players who are trying to pursue a D1 college hockey scholarship?
I mean, obviously, work hard always. Um, People are going to get a lot better during the years. I feel like if you're good now, you got to keep working towards being good because everyone can catch up if you just stay the same. So yeah, just working hard towards your goals. I feel like once you work hard, people will notice it and you'll get noticed.
Now, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your family members, friends, or teammates before the podcast comes to a close?
I'll give my shout out to the coaches down at the creek. I mean, they're awesome people. I love going to practice all the time. Just seeing them and having them coach me is awesome. Obviously, my teammates, wouldn't be where I am today without them. So gotta give them that. And my mom and dad, they've been driving me since forever. Not anymore, but since I was a kid, they've been making sacrifices for me to play the game. So yeah,
Well, thank you so much, Tessa, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking time of your day and talking with me. It really means a lot to me. I wish you all the best for the upcoming season, and I know you're going to kill it once you get to college hockey, so I can't wait to see you play. You're already one of my favorite members for the class of 2026, so you got that under your belt. But thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
thanks for having me so much.